murder mystery fans have their next bingeable hit on their hands. It's called Scarpetta. Rosy McEwen, Jake Cannavale. Rosy, if people aren't familiar with this material, what is this show about?
It's got your traditional detective murder mystery. We're flipping between two timelines. So we're seeing someone trying to solve a crime in the 90s and sort of all the perils that come with that. And then we're flashing forward 30 years later, and there's some connection between these two storylines, but we sort of work that out as we go. But the backdrop is a real life woman and the family dramas that come with being a human.
You two play obviously that first connection, but Jake, you have such a strong connection to the later material with your dad, Bobby Cannavale, playing the detective later in life. What was working with him on that to build this character together? That had to be so special.
It really was. I've had the privilege of working with him once, and we played father and son about 15 years ago. Damn. But this time it was really nice that we didn't feel we kind of got to work outside of set. We don't have any scenes together. So all of our work was very cerebral. It was just us on a couch, with a bowl of potato chips, just going over lines, figuring out what this guy is like in each moment. And it was very, very cool. It was a lot more creative in the mental sense, because once we're on set, we're kind of on our own. So it was a very good balance of collaboration and independence as artists. That was really cool.
Such a great thing to point out because, yeah, you don't share those scenes with this character that you're supposed to have their same mannerisms. And Rosy, I mean, you are portraying the same character as Nicole Kidman, just one of the best to act, just incredible. What was your conversations like with her to make sure you have the same mannerisms, the same kind of aspect and portrayal of this character, Dr. K. Scarpetta?
We had a few rehearsals at the beginning, and we talked about a few little physical things that we could share. We also had the same dialect coach who was with us separately and throughout. So with him, I had a sort of shorthand, and I had little Nicoleisms, I used to call them, that I would try and like pepper into certain moments, things that I'd picked up and sort of caught in some of our old films. I'd done a bit of watching before we even started. But I think after about a month in, you slightly just have to run with what you've got and trust. And our alliance really was with Kay Scarpetta as opposed to each other. So I think ultimately we just trusted her and that.
So great to see this material. I actually wasn't familiar with this book series. I mean, there's like 30 books in the series, but here we are. Amazon is so behind this show already, giving it a 2-season renewal, like 2 seasons already right off the bat. Jake, what is that like to get that confidence from Prime Video to now know that they're so faithful in it?
I mean, it's really humbling, and I think at its core, it's an invitation to work my ass off, and that's something that I'm very, very grateful for as an actor.
And the star power alongside you two with Nicole Kidman, with Bobby Cannavale. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis, Ariana DeBose, Simon Baker. You guys don't share those scenes, but I'm sure doing the press for the material, the promotional aspect, you get to all work together. What is their involvement like? Because they're all so incredible as well.
I mean, you're just in safe hands, aren't you? There was never any question about whether I was going to take it or not, because you just knew that it was going to be taken care of. And both Jamie and Nicole are producers on the show as well. So you just you can surrender and just enjoy the ride because you can trust.
You absolutely can trust those actors. Jake, what do you kind of hope people take away from your two's aspect of the show, where we see how this is all developing and leading to what we see in Nicole Kidman's version?
I mean, I hope people will feel the same thing that I felt when I was reading these scripts, which is just this sort of bubbling undercurrent of tension and what's going to happen. And I hope that, people can't stop watching it because there's just too much to uncover. The mystery is it's so beautifully paced, and we really owe that to the writing in these scripts.
It's an 8-episode binge release. You may think you figured it out, but just keep waiting. You never will know what you're going to get. Rosy, I mean, talk about that being part of something like that people are going to just fly through because it's all coming out at once.
Yeah, and I hope it's a bit different in lots of ways, because our storyline, obviously, you're trying to just work out who did the murdering in the 90s, which is a whole different ball game. You haven't got DNA samples, and fingerprints take weeks to get back. So it's a kind of, for all the sort of sciencey nerds out there, it's a clue by clue basis, and I hope that people can get on board with trying to figure it out themselves as we go.
Certainly will. Scarpetta, all 8 episodes, March 11th on Prime Video. Rosy, Jake, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.